Welcome to the No Lake Trust for Real Estate podcast. I'm your host, Christine George. I'm also the co-founder of Post and Beam Creative. Really excited to have you here with us today. Today, we have a very special show for you. Martha Melendez is with us today. Martha is the VP of Talent Acquisition, as well as a global real estate advisor at Engle and Volkers Aspire Group I love this, on the Florida Space Coast, but you're actually in Melbourne, I think, right?
Yes, correct.
You're in Melbourne, right? So I took this from your LinkedIn, Martha, because I love this quote. Martha says in her LinkedIn that every real estate transaction is a journey towards someone's dreams. And I think that's so beautiful. And it's just so, it evokes like such a warm feeling. And that's just how I feel when I think of you anyways. And so it's so appropriate for who you are. I also just want to share a couple of little sound bites that I read about you. Jeanette says, Martha is a fountain of knowledge and energy. Ooh, energy. I'll never forget that dinner we had out in San Diego, somewhere in California. There was a lot of energy at that table. So I would say she's right on. And then Kristen says, Martha was an absolute blessing. She never tried to hurry or pressure us if something wasn't what we wanted. And she made the process fun. And I was like, when I read those two things, I was like, that is Martha. Like, that is who she is. That encompasses her personality. And so I'm super excited. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're talking about business planning. And I know that's like such a painful topic for so many people. For me, it's like paradise. I love talking about business planning. And I know, Martha, you're someone who is just very intentional about creating a roadmap for your business plan and your life. And we're going to talk about that. So I'm really excited to hear about your approach. But before we get into that, can you just kind of share a little bit of your background?
Yes. So I am originally from Colombia, and we moved to the States in 1985. So a gajillion years ago. I did not speak English, but if you met me, I love to talk. So I made it, I needed to learn how to speak English quickly, because I think I would come unglued if I can't speak. So I grew up in New Jersey, and then moved to Florida almost 24 years ago, and had not the best experience buying our first home. So that led me into inquiring about how to become an agent, because I felt I needed to protect the public. And so that is still my why, to have someone a buyer or seller experience a bespoke experience throughout the whole thing and never felt like they're less than. So that is how I became a real estate, because I wanted to help the public, and I've loved it so much. I'm still here almost 20 years later.
Oh, that is awesome. So your philosophy, I love that it's a bespoke philosophy. Can you expand on that a little bit? What does that mean?
So it means that how we treat our clients. My mom always taught me to, anything I do, work from the heart, right? Mm-hmm. No matter who it is, I treat everybody the same. At Engle and Volkers, we say every home is a mansion, and everybody deserves that white glove service, right? And so if you work from the heart and you share that experience with that buyer or seller, they're going to tell everybody about you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a genuine feeling to, make everybody's experience as amazing as possible. Absolutely. And you can't really do that unless you actually care.
Right. Yeah, it's true. And people know quickly. Exactly. Whether it's just a transaction or is it a relationship. And real estate is a relationship business and not a transaction business. And there's a lot of people that do, but to me, it's all about the relationship.
That's awesome. So let's switch to business planning. So tell me a little bit about your approach to business planning and sort of creating that roadmap.
So business planning to me at the beginning, like Right? Because I am like, even now, I'm like trying to not to move around too much for you, right? Because the poster child of ADHD, right? And for me to say, you have to have an one of them things with the lines. I don't even know
Excel.
That I don't even know what it is, because it literally makes me like cry, right? I'm like, you want me to sit down for more than 20 minutes and put it in the Excel sheet? I can't, right? So I never did one, because I'm like, business plan, no, I'm good. I'm just going to give people my card and I'm going to write it down on my paper and I'm good. And then I realized that I needed a plan, right? And in 2015, I went to a vision board class by chance that came to my church. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And I said, how can I make that vision board into a business planning, but it's not scary, because it's a board and I can draw pictures and I can draw and I can put it on there and I can pin it and move it. It fit me. So business planning, although I admire people that love an Excel spreadsheet, and I love, like my partner loves a spreadsheet, and I thank God I have him in my life because he keeps those in order. With me, I'm like, right? Yeah. And I'm like, I will write it. Like even now, he's like, let me get you a piece of paper and pen, because he knows that I can't just sit, like I gotta like doodle, right? So when she started talking about write your vision, make it plain, I said, wait a minute. I can use that and say, okay, what is it that I want the next 5 years of my business to look like? And then scale it back to, okay, next year, and then break it up in quarters. And I want to sell these houses. And literally my vision board, my business plan, probably doesn't look like anybody else's in real estate, right? Because mine is pictures, because our mind takes in pictures, right? And things that we keep in front of us are like a magnet. We go toward it. Yeah. Right. So mine is completely different, I think, but it works for me. And I wish I could tell like the world, because it's like, it doesn't have to be a spreadsheet. If that makes you want to, oh my God, twitch, you can get a board and you can get some paper and you could, I do at the end of the year, like a 1099, and I write down what I want my 1099 to look like. Like, what's that number? And I put that up. Okay. And then I put the things and the activities that I need to do and how many houses do I need to sell on there to get me to that number. So then we break it back, right? So it's all the activities, and then it's, of course, what you do every day, right? Your success is hitting in your daily routine.
Okay. Right? So let's talk about daily routine, because I'm a big believer in that. Time blocking and sticking to a daily routine. It's those little things every single day that are compounded that get you to where you want to go. So tell me, what is your daily routine and how has it affected your business?
So I used to never be an early riser. I love to sleep, or dare I say loved with a D at the end. Because once I learned about the vision board, I started reading and listening to other people that talked about vision board. And someone said, successful people wake up 2 hours earlier than they have to. I was like, ooh, I like to sleep though. So I started putting my alarm clock like 10 minutes before. I was the crazy mom, like, where's your sock? And you have to go to school, and your water bottle. And my poor kids went to school all frazzled. And then I started waking up a little earlier, and their routine got easier because I wasn't screaming at where's your sock and your shoe. And little by little, I became kind of addicted to waking up earlier, so much so that I now wake up at 4. And I do more from 4 to 6 than I ever did. And it literally...
Whoa. Go back. So how did you get from wanting to sleep to, okay, I'm going to wake up at 4? Was it the 10 minutes you just pushed it back 10 minutes over time until it was 4 o'clock? So it wasn't like you took this big leap, or tell me.
No, I don't think I would ever wake up at 4. You must be crazy. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Right. So I started doing 10 minutes, and then I started, Terry Savelle Foy is the lady I learned the vision boards from. And she said to do, like, start your morning with a 20 minutes to read something motivational or inspiring or listen to it, 20 minutes to clean your house, and 20 minutes to exercise. I'm still working on that last part because I don't like to move, right? But I'm trying. But I figure the 20 minutes cleaning my house counts. So check and check, right? Yeah. So when I started listening to something motivational, I wanted more than 20 minutes. So then I was like, well, I want more. And literally I just couldn't read enough things about vision boards, and I couldn't start, so next thing I know, I was waking up at 4, and my husband was like, who are you? And as I changed, the atmosphere in my house changed, right? Because it wasn't a clutter anymore. I was able to have it clean because I woke up at 4 a.m. and I was able to clean when nobody else did. I was able to, pray and read my Bible and spend time with God alone, and all of that just rapidly. It's how I got there, but it was slowly. If you were to tell me I needed to wake up at 4 tomorrow, it's not going to happen. Where now right. I just wake up, but I do from 4 to 6. I do all this stuff, and I'm emailing my clients. I'm texting them, not texting them. I don't text them. I email them, and they're like, "Man, you ever sleep?" Right? So I'm like, no. And my mom used to tell me we could sleep when we die. And I never heard her. Now that she's passed, I hear her more now. And she's right. We have one life to live. And if we sleep, it doesn't matter how good your spreadsheet is. If you don't change your routine, it's just going to be a spreadsheet with numbers on it. You're never going to achieve it. Because you have to change something radically, the atmosphere, the shift has to happen, and it's in here, right? Yeah. Like my partner and I, we kept saying when a bunch of, COVID, and a bunch of agents flooded the market because it was free money, easy money, right? Mm-hmm. And we started getting these contracts, and we were like, man, they are not protecting their buyer. And we're like, somebody needs to write a book to help these new agents, like a step-by-step guide. And then we kept saying it, we were joking around. And then one day we were like, let's just write it. He used to be a teacher. He went to, Berkeley. And I used to be a teacher. I went to UCF. We were like, just write it. As a teacher's heart, a teacher is always a teacher. And so we added that to our routine. So we were meeting at the office from 8 to 10, and come hell or high water, we were here and we were writing. And guess what? Next week, our book is going to be available on Amazon.
Get out of town.
I know, right?
Girlfriend, give us the name of the book. What's the name of the book?
It's next month. So the name of the book is The Aspiring Agent, going from an overworked rookie to a real estate rock star.
Wow. Overworked rookie.
Rookie to a real estate rock star. And you should see me with my Joni Jet's jacket. Joan Jett.
Joan Jett, right. Oh, that's cool. First of all, congratulations on the book. So it's available on Amazon when?
January 22nd.
Okay. That's awesome. And going back to the routine, you had to change your routine and commit to getting together from 8 to 10 every day to get this done. So you had this goal in place. You switched up your routine. So I have two questions, follow-up questions to that. Well, one question, then I want to get back to the vision board because I don't think we quite circled the rounds on that. What happens? I think one of the things that paralyzes people when it relates to a routine is they get scared that they're not going to be able to get everything done. And as you know, as a real estate professional, clients come first, and the business isn't always, it just doesn't happen when you want it to happen. It happens when it happens. And so sometimes business can throw a wrench into your routine, right? So how do you handle it, or how do you manage it when you can't get everything done in your daily routine?
You wake up early. Right? And I'm not even kidding, right? And so you said the word paralyzed. And Terry said the story, and it's always in my head because have you ever been to the circus. Remember, as a little girl, maybe you went to the circus, right? And there was always a lion, and there was always the guy with the whip. But there was always something in his left hand that hardly anybody ever noticed. And it was always a stool. And this stool has 3 legs on it. And so as he's walking towards the lion, he's got the stool, and the lion can't focus on the 3 things, right? So it becomes paralyzed, fear, it literally can't move. And that is how people are when you don't have a vision. The poor lion can't focus on 3 things. So when we don't have a vision for, it's got to be like 5 years. When we don't have a vision for next 5 years, we too become paralyzed. Yeah. So it's almost like going to a, what is some places where you throw the axe,
like
the axe throwing?
Oh, yep.
And you don't have, where what's the thing
target?
Called? The target.
The target. Yep.
It's like living life without a target, right? And so you're throwing this axe and you're going to miss it every time, or you're going to be paralyzed like the lion. And that to me was like, I don't want to be paralyzed. What do I have to do? And she said, change your routine. And I was tired of living life broke. I went to work. I came home. I went to sleep. I went to work. And it was just like I was just spinning and spinning, but I wasn't going anywhere until I learned that you have to know and map out the next. And it's that 5 years is so important. And I don't know if you know about the Chinese bamboo tree. When they plant it, they water it, they put stuff on it, nothing happens. The second year, nothing happens. Third year, nothing happens. Fourth year, poor guy is probably like, why? What did I do wrong? But the 5th year, it comes out of the ground and shoots right up. Right? And so that's where the 5 years comes in, that you have to have a 5-year plan. And, our job is not to know how it's going to happen, because a lot of times people get stuck. How is that going to happen? It's not going to happen. But that's not our job. Our job is to just write it down and just by faith or trust, believe that the manifest, whatever you believe in, and it'll happen. Yeah. Perfect example. For kicks and giggles, I wrote on my vision board. I took a little picture, cut it out, because I have to be hands-on. I cut it out, paste it. Like the whole thing is my jam. I know I love coloring, and I put HGTV on the board just for kicks and giggles, right? And HGTV called about 2 of my properties that they were going to come shoot. They wanted 2, and they called both of my listings. Are you kidding me? I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. We wanted to sell a multi-million-dollar house. We cut a picture. We put it up there, and we did. And it's so a lot of times we get stuck on how's that going to happen? No matter how. Yeah. Put it on there, believe, and it will happen. I mean, it's just.
The book is a perfect example of that. It's, the law of attraction, essentially, right? And I do believe that if you have a goal, a vision, whatever it is that you want to achieve, a big piece of that, I agree, like you have to have, there's an element of faith for sure. There's also, I don't know, I believe that you have to almost start acting as if you already have it, right? Like you have to start acting as if you already have it, because then you start to really believe that you're worthy of it, right? And that you can achieve it. And I think once that gets ingrained in sort of the DNA of who you are, then you start making different choices, right?
100%. So it's interesting that you say that you have to believe it, because that's part of it, the vision board. Like you literally, it's so weird at the beginning. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing. And I feel silly. And I would stand in front of it. That's what Terry said. And you say, can't wait to walk in France, or I had so much fun and blah. And I'm like, this is silly. Right. But something almost magical happens when you let your brain think, I deserve this and I can do it. And it's for me. It's not just for everybody else. Because even the first time when I was like, there's nothing that lady can teach me because, hey, I don't look like her. Her mom and daddy are rich. That's not me. I can't even pay my water bill 2 days ago. Right. So once you switch that and say, why not me? Right. And I think that a lot of times we block our blessings or where our next thing, because a lot of times, and I'm going to be honest, because, I that's kind of my jam. I always am authentic. I sometimes didn't go to the big listing appointments because I'm like, they're not going to want the Latina to sell their house. But once I switched that, I'm like, I am a good agent and I bring a lot to the table. So I had to remove that from all the people that have put that in. Oh, they don't want you because you're brown. They don't want you because, and we have to stop making excuses.
Yeah.
Right. My pastor always says, everybody, armpits and excuses have something in common. Everybody have two and they both stink. So we have to get, but come back, Kristen. But it's true, right?
God. Yes.
It's true. Like we get in our way and there's nothing that can stop us. We are made and we all have a purpose, right? And if we keep whying ourselves, so that can't happen to me because my mom only went to the 3rd grade. Well, that happened to me because I'm like all these whys, stop that. What is it that you want in the next 5 years? And do we have to change and maybe throw a little makeup on and maybe look like you got it going on for a second? Your attitude and how you stand and how you look, people will just look at you different.
Yeah.
But you have to shift that mind.
Yeah. Because
there was a lot of people that went to that conference and they go to the conferences all the time, but nothing changes and maybe so excited. And we've heard this vision board thing before, and I've too, but until you make a change to say, you know what, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want December 2024 to look different than this year. Well, then I'm going to change. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. And if that's okay with people, then that's okay. But I'm like, that was in 2015. I'm still so passionate about it because it literally changed my life. Right. So, and still I'm like, so now we're writing a vision board book. Right. Because
that's amazing.
Like, I got to tell everybody about it. I'm like, well, why do we keep talking about this? And my partner's right there. He's like, let's do it. And so it's so good that when you kind of mesh with somebody that is like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. There was something else on your vision board that came true.
Oh, there's a lot of things on my vision board that came true.
I think it had to do with your son.
With my son, the one that became a pilot.
Yeah.
Yes. So he was the first one that wrote on my notebook, and he drew, because he's a drawer. He likes to doodle like me. So he drew a little thing that he said, one day I'm going to make something to go to space. And 2 weeks after that, he got invited to go to space camp in Huntsville, Alabama. All expenses paid for 10 days. And he came back and he walked out with his, astronaut uniform on. And he came out, he says, Mom, because I wrote the vision down, I now want to be a pilot. And he has his commercial pilot license.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, that's fantastic. Oh my God. I love it. I so love it. Vision board. I love the 20-20-20 rule. 20 minutes? 20 minutes.
20
motivation.
Minutes
20 minutes house, 20 minutes exercise.
Yes.
Love it. Awesome. So, how do you adapt to your vision when things that are out of your control change, like COVID or market shifts or things like that, illness, whatever?
So I'm glad that you say that, because change happens all the time, right? But if you have a routine and you work every day and you have that work ethic, doesn't matter what the market does. And things are going to change. There's things we can't control. I can only control what I do. Steve can only control what he does. But if we do every day and we're faithful to following up with our clients, we're staying on top of, we know the market. You have to know yourself and your market, right? If you know all these things, yes, the market might do all this, but you know what? Your clients are going to be there and they're going to want to support you. And it's no matter what the waves are doing, you keep doing what you're doing, right? And it's all of that follow up, staying in touch with your clients, doing video for your clients. They're going to remember, somebody's going to have to move anywhere, right? So there's fear, staying in touch with them, and anywhere. Just because it's bad where I am, it might not be bad in Washington. If I'm staying in touch with the agents over there and I can give them, it's always something. So I think what we've seen is that if you don't do anything, and then when it gets hard, then now you got to do something, but you've never done it before. That's when it's like, But if you're already, you're doing the same thing. You're waking up at 4 a.m. You already talked to all your clients. You already sent videos. It's just gonna keep going. You're not gonna be like, now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do the same thing I've always done. I'm gonna do the same thing we did in COVID. I'm gonna just keep. Nope, didn't skip a beat. Why? We know our routine. We know what we want. I know I want to be a top 1%. What is it that I got to do to get there? Right. So know your numbers, know yourself, know your routine, and you'll get there.
And have that vision. Yep. And there's obviously going to be, you need to think a little bit. You have to adapt to your message, has to adapt a little bit, right? Like, you have to reinvent yourself sort of along the way. COVID's a great example of that, when we couldn't have open houses and whatnot. And when the market shifts, your message shifts a little bit. But to your point, if you're continuing to do the little things day by day by day, then you're just going to continue to move forward and grow. I hear you. It's so true. And I think it can be difficult for some people because they get into a funk, What would you say to somebody who is in that funk and does have those excuses, I mean, to them, they're not excuses. Like, how do you get somebody out of a funk who sort of knows this stuff, Martha, but how do you get them there?
Action, like literally get out of your bed. I used to be in the bed, and I know depression all too well, right? I know what it's like. Well, I don't have any business and I don't have first you have to stop you're going to really hear my accent, because every time I say this word, it sounds so Latina. You have to stop your pity party. Like, you have to stop it. Right. And it's hard because once you're in a funk, you're like, well, I can't pay this, I can't pay that. You have to act like you have it. And I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but we've lived it. And you have to change it here. If this doesn't change here, it's not going to change on the outside.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say you have this. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And if you say, you know what, I'm going to be a multi-million-dollar producer, and they're like, okay, what are the activities that a multi-million-dollar producer does, right? If you want to be skinny, you got to do what the skinny people do, right? If you want to be rich, you have to do what the rich people do. And what do? They're actively talking to people. They're always in motion, right? So once something, what is it? The law of Newton? Once in motion, always in motion, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't stop. So whether it's pick up some magazines, go knock on people's door. Hey, door knocking, the doors are still there. Go old school. Like, this is the time. Sometimes you got to go old school. Hi, my name is Martha, and somebody just bought a house down the street, and I just wanted you to introduce them. They just moved down the street, whatever it is. Or, hey, I just brought you a CMA. This is I know the market's a little crazy right now, but I just wanted to give this to you, right? You give them information. So if you have to get out, you can't be sad if you're moving, right? You're moving, you're doing, get out, knock on doors, go talk to somebody, interview the pizza guy that's been there 30 years. Let me broadcast you on my Facebook, on my Instagram, or do something, but just don't do nothing. Like, get up and actually show up, If you have an
Showing
office
up.
that showing up, right? If you show up, you just might call in and $1 million person might call on the Zillow and you're the only agent there.
Yeah.
Have show up happened to us. I was here. My broker got a call. She was like, hey, can you get it? Some $1.5 million buyer happened to me. I was here. Nobody else was here.
Yeah.
Show up.
Showing up is 80%. I think, just showing up. I think that's half the battle, really. Martha, so as we start to wrap this up, what are 3 things you would like to leave our community with today?
I would like to leave your community with, know that you are valuable. Know that you are important. You make somebody smile, right? Number 2, because you are valuable, you owe it to yourself to write down your vision to get you to the next level, right? And the third thing is that no matter how dark and gloomy things are, remember that if you put one foot in front of the other, and then another and another, eventually you're jogging. But you have to make that first step first. Don't give up on yourself because you are valuable.
Oh my God. Love that. I love that. I love that. Don't give up on yourself because you are valuable. Everybody needs to hear that. And if you need to hear that today, you just heard it. Don't give up on yourself. Everyone is valuable. Martha, finish this sentence. Know, like, trust is.
Know, like, trust is a dream, a vision.
Where can people find you?
People find me at dreamlifemartha.com.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure. I love spending time with you.
And you as well. And so for those of you who are watching the replay or listening to the podcast, we so appreciate you listening in. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Write us a nice review. Believe it or not, it really does help. And you can find me at Christine at postandbeamcreative.com. You can find more information about Post and Beam at postandbeamcreative.com. And make sure to follow Martha. She is an amazing inspiration and motivator, and just so nice to have you here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye, Christine.